Okay guys, monochromatic doesn't sound too difficult. It's using one color, and that one color we can vary. I mean, if we were to draw with our colored pencil, we could pretty much stick to that one color, and pure saturation of that color would be achieved by drawing with pretty hard pressure using our colored pencil and getting that really pure value of that color coming right out. Artists tend to talk about using paints right out of the tube, and in that is the highest saturation of color that they can achieve. Now we're going to vary this in our monochromatic harmony by adding either less pressure to get our tints, which are lighter values of a color, or we're going to get shades, which are darker values of that color. And yes, we can just adjust our pencil pressure of our colored pencil to get tints, right? If we draw with really light pressure, we can get tints and get closer to white in the white of the paper. We could also use a white colored pencil to help us get there, but you'll find that it's really not that useful. I mean, check this out. I'm going to use a white pencil here, and it really doesn't affect anything. It shows up on darker papers, but here it's just really not working for me, and it could in fact be the brand. So as for today, I want you to explore and figure out like what constitutes and how can you get a tint, and how can you get the myriad of ways you can achieve the shade or darker values of a color. And I'm going to show you several ways to do that. Okay, here I've done four ways to get shades here, and 3 or 4 of them are very interesting, right? I have that red-orange color mixed with brown, which tends to go darker there. It's just a darker value. But I also have that red-orange plus blue-violet and also brown, which also provides this nice, varied, and idiosyncratic shade. And then I have one with just black added using a black colored pencil. And then lastly, I have a blue violet added to red orange and black. And I think as far as interest goes, I think the black by itself with red orange is the least interesting to me. And although we are using and talking about a monochromatic value, right? One color. I think in this case, and you'll find in many cases in art, that doesn't really mean to stick to just black, just to darken your color or your value. It's just not that interesting. Blacks tend to dull out a color and just make it seem dead. So I remember sometimes I've even mixed yellow using paint, several types of paint, and mixed that with black, and it almost turns green, like this really sickly green, and then finally goes to black. So, and rarely is there a case where you're just going to use black by itself. What I want you to do and experiment with are the different ways to achieve a more interesting value shift regarding shades, to achieve that darker value than just adding black. So try different things, and that'll be a part of your assignment too. Another thing I want you to notice is that I am using complements to help shade our value into a darker value of that color. So we have red-orange that we're playing around with as our base color, And if I look at my color wheel and trying to figure out what the opposite is or the complement is of red-orange, it's going to be right around the greens or the blues, and I want to choose the darker of the two, right? Because I want to go to black or really dark. So I'm going to stick to the blues, the blue violets, and even some browns, and try that out, since brown is a neutral color, but it can also be a stand-in for a darker value of yellow, orange, red. Let's see what happens when we do that. Okay, just one last thought as I've frozen the frame here. I wrote down at the very end, after I tested all of these kind of combinations, all the tests here that I've done are more interesting than black only, or just using black. So I really want to challenge you to find interesting combinations to get shades, tints, and I realize that we're talking about monochromatic, right? One color plus black and white, but really it's not that simple. If we were to just do black and white, it would make your composition pretty boring pretty fast. So let's keep up our interest and make our values a little bit more strong and rich, and we will keep going, guys. I will see you next time.